Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm White Shark, and in this video I'm going to try to explain to you how to cure exfoliative cheilitis and how to understand what it is. So we are talking about chronic peeling lips, chronic exfoliative cheilitis, a problem that a lot of people ask how to cure, and a lot of doctors just say we don't know. First, to understand exfoliative cheilitis, you have to understand why you got it on your lips. You have to understand a little bit something about evolution. So, when talking about evolution, we have to understand the word evolutionary advantage. Evolutionary advantage is anything that gives an edge to a certain species to thrive and survive. So, why am I talking about evolutionary advantage? I'm talking about it for you to understand why you got it on your lips. Why didn't you get it on your knees? Why didn't you get it on your arms? Why exactly on your lips? So, almost all mammals and a large number of birds and large number of fishes advertise their health by the way they look. That is called an evolutionary advantage. For a species to survive, it's very important that each individual of that species chooses a partner who is healthiest possible. So how to choose that? Well, through the evolution, it has been shown that those species that have eyes, and that's like us mammals, or birds and fishes and many others, those species that have eyes, they're able actually to see if a person of the opposite sex is healthy or not. So that possibility is done through advertising. Birds, a healthy bird is a bird which usually has beautiful feathers, flies nicely, doesn't show any sign of disease. Through millions of years of evolution, the same thing happened with us humans. There is an advantage for a whole species, not for you who are sick. There is a huge advantage in actually advertising that you are healthy or that you are sick. By advertising your health, you are saying, look at me, I'm healthy, choose me to be your mating partner, choose me to have your offspring with. If you do that, your kids will be healthy. And unfortunately, the opposite of that is when you are sick, when you are unhealthy, it shows very often on your face, on your skin, on your eyes, on your hair, on your nails, because it's an evolutionary advantage. It's not an advantage for you personally, who are already suffering from eczema or exfoliative cheilitis, or from seborrheic dermatitis, or from acne, or from any skin disorder. For you, that's a curse, because it affects your self-confidence, it affects your ability to present yourself in a society. But for majority of people who are not having skin problems, this is actually a way to say, yeah, look at me, I'm healthy, choose me. So, through millions of years of evolution, through the selection of those who look good and non-selection of those who don't look good, we humans have evolved into showing a lot of our health problems on our face, and also on our skin, and also on our teeth, and on our mouth, and on our tongue, and on our how we smell, as well what kind of hair we have. So, beautiful hair is a sign of good health. Beautiful skin is a sign of good health. Symmetric face is a sign of good health. Face symmetry, composition of the face is also a sign of good health. You shouldn't have too small eyes. You shouldn't have too big nose. You shouldn't have too big or too small anything. Everything should be in proportion. And the same goes for the skin softness. Soft skin is a sign of good health. Dry skin is a sign of problem. And we are not talking about problem of the skin alone. Here I'm talking about problem, internal problem. And when we talk about internal problems, we are generally talking about condition of your liver, condition of your intestines, condition of your kidneys, and possibly the condition of your reproductive organs, condition of your complete system, reproductive organs, all the glands, everything. So any problem that shows on your skin, unfortunately, is not only a problem with your skin, unless you just scratch your skin, physically got injured. Any chronic problem is generally a sign of some internal imbalance. And that's exactly the reason why there are so many people struggling to cure exfoliative cheilitis. What they are doing is, oh, I have a problem on my lips. Let me put something on my lips. They don't think that, oh, I have a problem on my lips. It probably means there is something wrong inside also. So now, what does it mean actually when you have exfoliative cheilitis? What is the real problem? Apparently, for the majority of people, and now I'm talking about great majority, the problem is an allergy or an intolerance to something. Something your mouth is getting in touch with. And that something can be very often food. And when we talk about food, now that subgroup of people for who have problem with food, on top of the list is gluten. Yes, the protein found in wheat and in few other grains. So, if you have exfoliative cheilitis, and if there is only one thing you should do in trying to cure it, which will give you the highest chances of reaching the cure, eliminate gluten from your diet for at least 2 to 3 weeks and watch what's going to happen to your lips. If nothing happens after 3, maybe even 4 weeks, there are just 2 possible explanations. Either gluten is not, or 3 explanations. Gluten is not your only problem, or gluten is your problem, but you were not able really to totally eliminate it because you just didn't read all the ingredients in all the food you ate. Or gluten is your problem, you did eliminate it, but gluten is not the only problem. Because when people have problem with gluten for a very, very long time, they suddenly develop also problem with many other things. And the other things could be, for example, this is just an example, it could be soy, it could be peanuts, it could be pollen, it could be toothpaste, it could be many different things. Okay. So, that's number one thing. There are many other things that can affect, of course, that people can become allergic to. And we are not talking only about, when we talk about allergies, let me tell you something. Allergies are generally considered 2 different kind of allergies. We are talking about true allergies. These are kind of allergies that people react very quickly on. And we are talking about intolerances. It's like you take gluten today, but there is no reaction actually within few seconds or few minutes. Reaction starts within few hours or sometimes a day. That's kind of more of intolerance. So that's not true allergy. And very often when you go to a doctor and you ask to test for allergies, most often you're only tested for true allergies, which, by the way, seldom are cause of exfoliative cheilitis. So people think, oh yeah, it's not an allergy, I've been tested for allergies and there is no problem, I'm not allergic to anything. Or I'm allergic to that thing, but you know, I avoid it and I still have a problem. So that's the thing. The test you've been tested for, it's not the right kind of test. You've been tested for type 1 allergies, you're supposed to be tested for type 3 allergies. So what is the only real test for, let's say, food allergies? The only true test for food allergies is total elimination. If you want to be 100% sure that gluten is not your problem, you have to eliminate it 100% for a certain amount of time. For some people, that time is 7 days, for other 14, for other 21 days. For some even for 3 days, depending on what you actually react to. But anyway, unless you eliminate fully something that you suspect to be a problem for your allergy, or that you suspect to be a trigger of your EC, of your chronic peeling lips, you don't know if that really is your problem. And even then, you don't know if that's the problem. Now you of course get confused, like, what am I talking about? Well, why am I going to do it if I'm not going to know? Well, the problem is actually that people can be allergic to more than one thing. So let's say you're allergic to 4 different things, and one out of those 4 different things you eliminate only one, and that one, let's say, is gluten. But there are also strawberries, and there are also walnuts, and there are also shrimps. 3 other things you are allergic to or intolerant of that also trigger your peeling lips. So you eliminate gluten, but you keep occasionally eating those other 3 foods, like every second day, just occasionally enough that your lips never fully cure. Your lips get slightly improved, you get the feeling, yeah, hey, it was gluten, but they never get fully cured. So the real way to deal with any intolerances is actually total elimination. The only problem, of course, is you don't know what you should eliminate. And that is a big problem. So one of the ways to solve that problem is actually to eliminate everything. Or almost everything. Let's say you eliminate almost everything and you try to live on 5 or 3 different kind of foods. You drink clean water. You, let's say, drink carrot juice. You, let's say, drink apple juice, and maybe you eat chicken, or yeah, let's say chicken. So you get some proteins from chicken, you get the rest of the things from apples or carrots, and you drink water, and that's all you live on for several days. If you do that, you have practically eliminated at least 99% of potential food triggers when it comes to EC. And the food that often triggers EC, these are actually foods that often trigger all other allergies. So we are talking about milk, we are talking about nuts, we are talking about peanuts, soy, eggs, grains, especially wheat. And that list is actually much longer because, for example, berries are quite often a trigger for many skin problems. We are talking about strawberries, raspberries, blueberries maybe sometimes also, yeah. But strawberries, raspberries, are kind of on the top. And then we have many other foods also that are a problem. Like, for example, some people can't tolerate meat. They are minority, great minority, but there are people who have problem with some kind of meat. And then there are people who have problem with fish. And then there are people who have problem with some very specific things that most other people can tolerate, like bananas. A rare form of allergy or intolerance is banana intolerance or papaya or kiwi. But a lot of tropical fruits can actually trigger certain skin problems to people who are intolerant of. So that was the reason why I just suggested you, like, just go with 4 different foods. Like, let's say, carrots. There are some people also who are intolerant of all root vegetables. So for them, definitely living on carrots or carrot juice is not the best idea. But considering that those people are rather rare, that's one of the ways to approach the problem. And of course, there is even more difficult way to approach the problem, and it's called water fasting. It means you drink water, clean water, and nothing else. That's actually a way to approach any difficult to find food triggers or food allergies or food intolerances. If you suspect that food is your problem or that digestion is your problem, eliminate all foods for some time. Not an easy task. It's not gonna work. Not gonna be many people who are able to do it. But those who have discipline and ability to do it, that's the way to solve the problem. Once you have eliminated either just most of the foods or all of the foods, and if that actually gives some results, and the results of course that you want is that your problems, in this case peeling lips, stop and your lips suddenly get better, and if you achieve that your lips get better or they get totally cured, then you actually have a task in front of you to figure out what was that in your diet, if that was the diet that was causing the problem in the first place. And the only way to really find that is to include only one food at a time after your fasting period. So either you've been water fasting or you've been fasting on carrot juices and some chicken or some fish or some, whatever else you prefer to live on. After that period, let's say your lips did improve, how do you find out what your problem is? You find out by simply including one by one thing back into your diet, and you start actually with things that you consider not the top priority. Like, let's say it would be fantastic if you could eat wheat, because there are 90% of foods out there that are made with wheat flour. So of course you can immediately try after the fast, okay, maybe I should immediately try wheat and gluten and see if I react to it. But maybe it's not smart, because if it is actually gluten, you might get peeling lips from it, and then it will mess up testing of all the other foods. You won't be able actually to test until you are again cured. So you will have to fast again, get cured, and then start testing again. Of course, now you know it is gluten or it is wheat that is your problem, so you discover one trigger, but there could be many of them, so you're prolonging. So instead of jumping on those most likely triggers, it's actually much better to try testing things that are unlikely triggers, and by that increase the number of things you eat and consume until you actually come to the point where, okay, now I can test for those high likely triggers. So you can test, let's say, different kind of fruits first, or different kind of vegetable first, or even, if you are pretty sure it's not eggs, include eggs. Eggs will give you a lot of, eggs are complete nutrition. An egg contains everything that you might need to survive, so you can actually live on eggs. Or, fish. So that's an idea, just if we are talking, of course, about food. Now, I just told you that intolerance to food is the number one problem for the exfoliative cheilitis.